All right, so I did a 60-second review. If you want a fast review, please go read that or look at that. It's fast, short, sweet, to the point. This one is probably going to be about a 5-minute review. Americans All, the Rainbow at War, the 42nd Infantry Division, World War I. You have the compass here, north, south, east, and west. Every single battalion that comes from different places around the country. And it actually tells you, like if I zoom in here, Oregon, California, Texas, Oklahoma, Louisiana, Tennessee, Georgia, South Carolina, just every single place. Even the side of the book is a gorgeous book. Now, this book is an expensive book to buy. If you find it, you might find it cheap for $50, but an okay copy of this book, you're going to probably be spending $100. But this book will look beautiful on a shelf. At the end, it tells you that this book was supposed to be 300 pages less than what it is. This book is an 890-page book, as you can see, about 8-point font. It is a long book. It is a heavy, heavy read. Now, this book has maps, it has journals, it has stories from different individuals, part of the Rainbow Division and or the 42nd Division of the U.S. The maps are gorgeous. They were drawn very meticulously. They fold out and very nicely, showing you the lines, where the enemies were, where they were attacking, where the different battalions were, what way they're going, which sectors they're taking. It is one of the most well-written books. So, there are a few things I put here because there were things I wanted to point out. So page 525, goodness gracious, 525. So, there's stuff here talking about individuals who were arrested while being drunk, and this individual had cut a mustache from a German. Talking about war trophies, before you talk about them in Japan, in taking, gold teeth, and taking ears, in the Vietnam, taking freaking fingers, noses. This is talking about taking a German mustache. You have stories about carpenters. You have stories about, and if you want to read a good one about the carpenter, 569, great story. You have one that's between 590 and 597, getting back with his friends, and that's a beautiful freaking 7 pages of reading in this book, where, as you can see, it's a long read for 7 pages, but those 7 pages are talking about how they got injured, were discharged from the hospital, and were waiting to go into another battalion to be reserved, and how they took it upon themselves to get back to the front line, to get back with their battalions, because that's where their paperwork was, and they wouldn't get in trouble for desertion as long as they made it back to their battalion lines. In page 641, it talks about the Japanese Army and the Japanese-Russo War and how well they were fighting. This book was published in 1936. So talking about the Japanese fighting and how they don't know how this unstoppable army would be stopped, and 5 years later, they would attack Pearl Harbor. You have number 676, if you want to read a very interesting thing about the chaplain going and talking to 2 different men who are both dying, and one who's a very avid believer in God, and the other who despises the notion of God, and one giving him his sister's number and being like, "Thank you, chaplain, I know I'm probably not going to live long." The other one being like, "I hate you, I hate your God, I hate everything, I don't want to deal with you, I'm not giving you anything. I came here to show myself as a man to my father because he kicked me out of the house, he thought I was worthless and a piece of garbage." And then finding out later that they both died. And then another very interesting one on 740, this, and you gotta remember, this is World War I. People that were officers here were taught by individual generals and lieutenants and colonels and whatnot that fought in the Civil War. You have NCOs that were taught by individuals who fought in the Civil War, some of which actually were there that they'll talk about, that were high-ranking generals that did fight in the Civil War, and how it's the first time 2 divisions from the North and the South that fought each other at the Battle, I think, of Vicksburg or something, actually fought on the same side for the first time since, 1863? This book is a long, long read. But if you have the time, patience, even if you get it on the PDF and slowly read it, I highly recommend this book. I'm not saying it's not 9 out of 10 for any reason. The only reason I'm saying 9 out of 10 instead of 10 out of 10 is, one, it's a very daunting book, and two, going from hard facts to stories, and then it sort of gets you lost on exactly what date that they're talking about, because it could be for a whole battle, which could be a month of time, that these stories will go back and forth in before they phase to the next phase. Otherwise, if you like military history, Americans All, The Rainbow at War, the history of the 42nd U.S. Infantry Division, I highly recommend it.